On to Thrall Street. Perhaps we're gonna meet some zombies? I mean, thralls make me think like vampires. Ooh, take the sentence with Harjit. Harjit. It's worth it to be mindful of how others will perceive me, which role I play. What I can and cannot say is constrained by my clothes. This is true before the fall, but it's even truer now. Names, identities, and relationships have all become so unsteady and unreliable. Harjit admires duty, but does not always care for the ministry. Hard to say what impression the badge makes on him. Let's continue with our very confusing tailor's apron and badge. The streets outside Miss Chapman's are not easy. Thanks to my family history, I do know where to find the nearest market that specializes in clothing. Ooh, the Hogs Lane Market. We can finally find a hat. Whenever I need to find more of them, it's Harjit who helps me. What should I give him? I have something for you, if you want it. It produces a nearly new Admiral's hat in perfectly good condition. I found it near the docks. No sign of the owner. And I can't wear it myself. Thought someone at Miss Chapman's might get use out of it. Perhaps Lady Griselda. Ha! Trimmed with gold braid, it makes a person look like a respectable representative of the Navy. Wearing it gives me a commanding, if slightly curmudgeonly presence. Sometimes I'm inspired to say things I wouldn't otherwise. I have the feeling this particular hat would make me a bit gruff and commanding. Oh, interesting. What clothing we wear also will influence our dialogue options? That's kind of neat. Oh, I'm wearing the fucking hat. Oh, I didn't have any option. Oh, I get it now. So our dialogue options. Okay, so if we have the hat, that means it's a dialogue option we get because of the hat we're wearing. And then, ooh, I like this. I like this. Mutter ungraciously, influenced by the hat. Thank you. Oh, thank you kindly. Could have got a penny or two for it by selling it on to a secondhand clothes merchant. Harjit is silent. Establish my authority with the census. I require assistance with the ministry census. Truth is essential. I see. London was determined to collect everyone's name even before the fall. Agree, it's a peculiarity of the English. It is a peculiarity of the English. You aren't the only ones to count your citizens. What do you wish to know? Ask about his household. Do you live alone? At one time, I shared my lodgings. That was prior to the fall. My former companion is missing. What about your romantic connections? Are you married or otherwise connected? This is not a matter I would explain to most people. You and I have known each other for some time, however. I think you would hear me out kindly, but if you would rather not carry my secrets. I'll keep your confidence, RG. I believe I know what is expected in these situations. Even before the fall, I would not have married. My companion was not a lady. He was an officer who came to the Punjab. Became acquainted, and then more than acquainted. I thought he and I would remain together throughout our lives. Followed him here, away from my own country and everything I knew, to the home of my former enemies. He promised me it was worth the sacrifice. He said we would never be separated. You will observe he isn't here. Let's try and distract him with a joke. I nod sympathetically. I allow an appropriate interval to pass. I tell one about the tentacled hat. No one speaks for a moment. I look for Lucian everywhere I go. Let's not presume to comment. I say nothing. Arjeet holds out a tiny photograph. The sort that might be given to a mother or sweetheart when a man goes off to war. The sitter has tremendous sideburns and mustaches both luxuriant and curly, definite brows, and a broad forehead, the kind usually associated with intellect. And a sensitivity around the eyes, suggesting someone at once dashing and prone to long consideration. I've got to rack my memories. I nod thoughtfully. Arjeet does not comment on this. Ooh, we have a side quest. Help Arjeet find his lost beloved. Ask him about the destinations. Ooh. We've got the Tentergrounds Synagogue, St. Albans Proto-Martyr Church, the Menace Eradicator's Shop. All right, what about the Tentager? Do you know where the synagogue is? I worked out the way to the Tentergrounds Synagogue. There are a lot of people in that area today. So we walk together. And every few moments, Harjeet stops to point out a landmark. Or draw my attention to the places where the air smells different, or the sound of church bells can be heard. They peer over my badge. Not familiar with that ministry? It's new. You're on our way to services, so this is not a suitable time for ministry business. Wait here, Rachel. Or you can stand a bit to the side if you want, whatever you're comfortable. I'll speak with this person. It won't take long. Shouldn't, anyway. Let's use our tailor connection. My name is Dreki. Before the fall, my family were tailors. That sort of thing matters now that we inhabit this cave. David and Rachel Landau. Rachel is my sister. What can we do for you? Oh, I'm with the Ministry for the Census. The Ministry of Accounting and Recounting have asked me to work on the census. I see. I'll answer your questions, comrade, if you answer mine. Call it character research. Are you having peculiar dreams down here? My housemate is a doctor. Well, almost a doctor. He's being called to see people with strange dreams constantly. Does he report them back to you? Or better yet, does he keep a ledger? He only gives the outlines. Doesn't give away the secrets of his patients. Commendable. Inconvenient. Go ahead with your questions, comrade. It seems seems like David is more predisposed to like us at the moment, so he may actually provide us something useful. I feel like Rachel might want a bit of tit for tat, and we don't have the tat for... I'm not gonna finish that sentence. So let's talk to David. Let's cede some power back to David. He seems like he wants to, he seems like the kind of person that wants to be in control a bit. There are only a few questions. This should not be long. Who else lives in your household? A home contains myself, my brother, and our housekeeper. It isn't a grand establishment. We had another housekeeper for many years, but she passed away, and Phoebe, our servant, lost her place with a neighbor of ours. Do you have any romantic commitments? Doesn't have any commitments. In fact, I would go so far as to say he is utterly without prospects. Damn, sis, you don't gotta fucking throw me under the... If I was David, I'd be like, damn, sis, you don't gotta bust me like that. What the fuck? It's fucked up. I'm gonna tell mom and dad about you. He stays home and reads. Haven't been well. He warns me of spinsterhood, but he's headed very much in that direction himself. It isn't the same thing at all. I agree, it isn't. I have my work to support myself. My sister's a famous authoress, serialized in the Lily of London, if you can believe it. What's become of your fun since the fall? You'll have to marry if you don't mean to end your days a pauper, brother. I'll rely on you to support me in my failing years, dear sister. Are you married or in love? Oh, not recently. I was in love once, or so I imagined. Charlotte Carringham, she and David had an understanding. She converted, in any case. Becoming Christian suited her social aspirations. Rachel. Yes, I take leave. You dislike your unworthy suitors as heartily as you dislike mine. Milton is a yellow-eyed, flash-dressed, hot-headed creature, at least 2 decades too old for my sister. Rumors of devils are frequent in the city. Perhaps Milton is one of them. I hardly think he and Charlotte are comparable. Oh dear. Rules of polite society have broken somewhat in the fall, haven't they? Nothing of the sort. He's a devil. Or rather, he belongs to the group using that name. Milton is an artistic inspiration. If you're not a writer yourself, comrade, you cannot guess how much the fall has disrupted our sort of work. Characters have certain tastes, certain preferences, certain prejudices. All I need is to imagine them in new circumstances, and their reactions right themselves. But now, we've all been at least a little bit cracked by the fall. How does anyone behave? Who can say? You'll always say you wrote from observation. You can still observe. Since the fall, there's no pattern in what I see. There's only home that makes sense to me. I cannot make my whole novel about a brother and sister lighting candles at Shabbat. The rest of the world must come into it somehow. Milton helps me sort the rest of the world. He can make sense of anything, even if it's Countess running down the street in her Perignoir. It's easy to understand a misbehaving Countess. Everything else is stranger. Let me say, comrade, Milton smokes rose-scented cigars. He helps me. Ooh. David, you need to loosen up. up. Rachel's just trying to find her muse. I think Milton's okay. What's wrong with rose-scented cigars? Like, I mean, they smell nice. It's not like he's vaping or anything. Also, hi, Ampish. I hope you're doing well today. That doesn't sound so bad. See? Milton quotes poetry instead of making conversation. It is one of the things I like about him. I sense his curiosity on Rachel. Ask, making it clear this is for the census. Business first before any pleasure. For the census, what is your romantic status? Married? Betrothed? Are you in love? No, I wouldn't say that. Milton is only a friend. Just as well, too. The times before, you would never have darkened the door of such a person. Aw, take it for your head pats. With a ready listener, David talks about the life he had before the fall, and hopes to have again. It was a steady business, which presented him with challenges in which his caution and tendency to doubt were an asset. Oh, take it for the boobs, John Nather. I hope you're doing well. In his stories, his partners and relatives are sometimes swindled or tricked, but David himself rarely falls prey for that kind of misadventure. Alas, giant bottles of water crash onto his skull, forcing him to hydrate. Ah, delicious. Thank you. His arrangements appear to have been quietly successful, and I have the impression that his friends thought highly of his good sense. We must be going. We're already late. I'm not feeling well enough for this. He set loose one or two ideas, for which I certainly owe you something. She produces a card and hands it to me. Provides her address and guidance to reach it. Ooh, the Landau's townhouse. A well-appointed townhouse, suffused with a homely glow from its tall windows. Home of the Landau siblings. Goodbye, comrade. Interesting. I like this. I like how the game is making it very explicit the option of what we choose to intend with characters. I think that's one issue I have a lot of the times with visual novels, is that it can be very difficult for me to determine like what is like just being friends, what is like a romance love path. Like, yeah, it feels maybe a little clunky to make it like very explicit and in your face and just here is what they are with no fluff around it. But I kind of appreciate that. It kind of makes this a lot easy for me to define how I want to roleplay and interact with characters. As someone who doesn't play a lot of visual novels, honestly, this is like the most number of visual novels I have played in my entire life this past year. I think I've played maybe 2 visual novels prior to ever streaming. And now this is like my 4th, 5th? Dude, I am doing pretty fantastic. This has been a fine Friday, and this game is... I think it's off to a pretty good start. I'm certainly going to be... I guess one of the reasons that probably I play so many visual novels is it does give me a lot of opportunities to practice voice stuff. And I do want to get better at doing voice things. I mean, she's an author. I quite fancy perhaps someone of the arts. So we'll decide to court Rachel. I look at Rachel with unmistakable longing. I just have time for one more errand today before supper. recall the past and try to remember where I might have seen Lucian. Okay. So we can go to the market, the townhouse, the boarding house. Wall Street has coin. So I don't know if that means we can buy things or if there's an opportunity to make money. I feel like exclamation point means there is a viewable event. So the boarding house could be Archie. It could be the other woman that lives here that we haven't met yet. We've already interacted with them, so I don't want to go there for the census stuff. So Hogs Lane? I kind of want to go to Hogs Lane. Let's go to Hogs Lane. Okay, so coin means there's stuff I can buy there. Noted. So let's look for census filling shopkeepers. I'm wondering if our census papers will be converted to coin at a 1-to-1 ratio. It's hard to guess what outfit will best go over in this environment. For a shop, let's actually drop the hat. Wait a minute. Yeah. With a combination of badge and apron, it looks as though I'm distributing food on behalf of the ministry. Okay, what if I go coatless? Okay, what if I put the corsage on? That'll do. I'm satisfied with this. Who are you? Hello there. Since the fall, we have taken to greeting one another as invalids on the verge of death. Call me Ivy. The badge makes clear that I'm here for business, not for conversation. Explain apologetically about the census. I'm sorry for the interruption, but I've been sent to ask a few questions of the citizens of London, or those who survived at any rate. Not sure what the masters have in mind. Nonetheless, it would be a help. I see. Let's get a little, you don't want to lead with any flirting, so let's just get some trust. I favor Ivy with a brief sketch of my own upbringing and family tree. Ivy Fitzclarret is what passes for a joke with my mum. Ingo for an explanation. Fitzclarret? Like the family of royal bastards, the Fitzclarences. It's had less to do with the ducal ancestor, more to do with strong drink. My mum reckoned when we got old enough, I could pick a lie that'd suit me. As long as you live with me, you'll be known for a tart's daughter. No point in hiding it. Oh, thank you for the head pats. I laugh. I see you'd get on with her. Take an interest in her mum. Let's note this information down and move on. I see. Like a steel trap, eh? I get the measure of you. Let's ask about her household. You live alone? Live back at my mum's place when I'm not working in. She's good company, unless she's got guests of her own. In which case, I stay out late. Oh, thanks for the delicious Dreki drink. Oh. Is there anyone special in your life, Ivy? There's been a few warm encounters. Not the Blessed Virgin, am I? I don't want child, nor man sponging off me. Oh, Durengar! Once again, into the void you breach. Ah! Yeah, you dropped a water bottle on me on your way out, buddy. One thing about being raised in an old sloop of war, she taught me how to keep unencumbered. For a moment, no one speaks. I see. What have you got for sale? Ooh. Okay, but that's a cool. I like that. Ah, the slug cats. Oh, I've been turned into a game. I've been transported into the triangle dimension. I like this coat. Unfortunately, it's a bit more buxom than my character. Ooh, top hat with mushrooms? Why does the top hat have mushrooms? I do like the straw hat. Oh, that also has mushrooms. They both have mushrooms. Why do they? I like both of these hats so much. Can I wear a hat on top of my hat? How many hat slots can I jam together? Can I combine items? Can I put the straw hat on the top hat? Or the top hat on the straw hat? I want a top hat though. An exceptionally of the mode piece, trimmed with mushrooms as style currently demand. Oh, the current fashionable style is to put mushroom in your hat. I see. Oh, I don't have any money. On second thought, I can bargain for this another time. Ah, well, top a room for me. All right, time to go back to Horatia. Head on down for supper. Grits is waiting for me. Whatever census forms you have already. Time to take them to Mr. Page's. Alright, let's see this Mr. Page's. Is he gonna be made of pages? Is he gonna be like a bibliomancer? I'm prepared. I sincerely hope that's true. Come with me. Once I've shown you how to reach the ministry, you can come back on your own and turn in others. Grits has me gather my papers. With luck, Mr. Pages will decide to keep you on. Even more luck, you wouldn't mind being asked about the Ministry of Chirography and Cartography. With that, she leads me outside and down a side street that is no longer named. The way to the bazaar is much longer than a straight line. First left, then right, and back again and again. Like trimming an evening gown, it's going to be a bother for bother's own sake. I do not ask Grits whether the masters require us to approach this way, or whether it is her own virtuosic embellishment. Finally, we find ourselves standing in its shadow, under its walls. Ooh, a symbol. Interesting. Before us is a low door that once, I think, belonged to a solicitor's office. Grits takes out a key, made of something other than metal, and unlocks that door. Oh, got me sure. Hey, we'll go on by. Well, I'm currently in a video game, so I've been. Oh no! Oh no! They're scanning me! Help! I gotta escape! I gotta escape! Run! It turned out all scrungled. And the pile of papers. I've already sorted them 3 times. Mr. Pages is very particular about the ordering of documents. Now, where has he gone? Usually he's here by this time of day. Ah, there you are, sir. Hey, it's the shadowy cloaked figure on the cover of the game. You're just coming to bring you the census documents. A first installment of many, I'm sure. There's a tone in her voice, somewhere between fondness and a nanny guiding an untutored child. I watch her curiously. She doesn't meet my eye. Does she have feelings towards it? Affection? Regard for a very strange and demanding pet? Or is it something more heartfelt? Mr. Pages, may I present Dreki? Dreki, this is Mr. Pages. The whole Ministry of Accounting and Recounting is under Mr. Pages' direction. How do you do, Mr. Pages? Virtuous, with a supkin of mirritance. Mr. Pages has a surprisingly high voice for someone so large. I beg your pardon? Mr. Pages has been interviewing a Frenchman unhappily stranded on our shores before the fall. You can imagine how that might affect both mind and vocabulary. Not sagely! Yeah, the French. Ah, of course. What have you brought us? Okay, let's hand over these finished census pages. Ah, most satisfactory. There are secrets here. It gives me 2 shiny pennies for my trouble. I turn one over. There's a portrait on the back of someone who is certainly not the queen. The face on the back of the coin stares at me until the hair prickles on my neck. The coin reminds me of a debt owed, and I don't want to remember. My breath hitches and slows and resumes. I'm holding 2 pennies now. Okay, so we need 7. Well, we got 5. We did not expect much from Archie. Undercan greets, having already revelated that he is a lightless character. What else is there? Okay, what about Rachel? Does Rachel have light? Gives me 2 more coins, bringing me up to 4. There are other coins in there, and a few things that aren't even coins. Buttons, pearls, probably false. A horse head carved from ivory or bone. The quality of your information impresses us this time. Looks as though the sheets of the form in its usual way. Doesn't find much to interest it on the account of Rachel's romantic life. Is much more intrigued by her employment. She invents love stories from nothing. Any number of novels printed every year in London. The price of paper was recently reduced. These stories we will acquire. If they are suitable, then we will also acquire the authoress. We shall see. Excellent. Do you have anything more? Okay, here's a page on David. Mr. Pages takes the census page eagerly and spends some time scanning it. There's something it is looking for, something it keeps looking for that it cannot find. It seems it cares for his sister more than for any other. Nonetheless, its affliction are prolific. There's a promise in that. Do you have anything more? Okay, what about Harjeet? Mr. Pages pays 2 pennies. Then it puts the census page in a stack of others, much like it. It weighs the stack down with a paperweight. If I look too hard at the paperweight, my eyes sting. Can we say that the story is finished? While the lover has not returned, another chaptering is imaginable. Do you have anything more? Okay, what about Ivy? I can take my penny without flinching under its stare. An exemplary sample. Her mother is resilient of heart. She herself also. I kind of liked her. She's kind of cool. There's something indication of companionate time outside of the ministry is your own. We do not forbid revisiting of subjects of the census. The business of the census is done for now. Perhaps I've earned a question. Why do maps need to be outlawed? Why aren't we allowed to have maps and atlases anymore? We need them more than ever. London isn't arranged where it used to be. I believe the ministry intends to resurvey the territory. In the meantime, it wouldn't do, you know, to have people using fallacious maps. The territory of the Neath is anti-disposificated towards lying still. What? I beg your pardon? I suppose it must be a reference to the seismic activity. Perhaps there's a concern that further events will disturb the arrangement of London streets. And now that I think on it, in those circumstances, the existence of inaccurate maps might cause alarm. Perhaps better not to create in the population an expectation of consistent layout. There's enough of my official duties for the moment. Grits accompanies me out again when it is time to go. She makes a couple of remarks about how useful this will be, though she stops short of asking whether I'm in debt to Horatia. I haven't forgotten, though. Pay Horatia half my back rent. Oh, fuck. How much rent do I owe? As we make our way back to Horatia's, Grits asks me what I think of Mr. Pages. She tries to make it sound like an idly curious question. Thank her for arranging this post. I certainly needed the coin. I'm grateful for the arrangement. It's very good of you to put this together. There's a moment's fellow feeling. Grits and I are thinking alike. Before we go back inside the house, she reminds me. We have many more people in the neighborhood to survey for the census. You know how it's done now, so you can collect them and take them to Mr. Pages yourself. I have other duties, and I may not always be there. Pages is... well, I'm certain you won't be harmed if you visit the ministry on your own. Silently conclude she has an interest in Mr. Pages. There's something in the tone of her voice. We should go inside. Promote their connection. Yes, yes. We'll go straight to sleep. I remember well enough what happened during the day.
Hold on, give me a second. Oh crap! Oh my frogs!
Oh god,
Shit!
it's the day of frogs! Oh god, they're frog! Oh god, they're frogging me! Oh, John, help! Oh god! What they didn't tell you about the fall of London is that it released the frogs! I don't know why they're going so slow these days. I might need to. Maybe I messed something up when I converted everything to. When I made the throw thing with fistful, I think I might have messed something up with the objects. Damn, I even got gnomes down here. Another morning, another newspaper. The headlines today read: London swallowed whole by Leviathan. Sermon on the wrath of an angry god. Okay. I mean, I'm not really much of a Leviathan. I don't think London entirely got eaten. I mean, you know. Hey, Sugar Factory. Welcome on by. I hope you're doing well. Time to recall the past. I remember the days of the fall in fragments. There are a few moments I'm always drawn back to. Memories that stand for everything else that happened. There are things I sometimes remember that the night cannot have happened. Impossible things. If I concentrate, I can recall. Lucian, just before the fall. It wasn't the night of the fall, it was a little earlier when we were still on the surface. just a few days before. I saw a party of drunk men, most older and quite distinguished, but accompanied by a younger officer. He was the most drunk of all, but he kept talking about warning everyone. He was obsessed with some grotesque impending disaster. What disaster? Something to do with theft and darkness? I can't recall now. A conversation half overheard, half a street away. But the end is that the other men got tired of his insistences and his drunkenness. So they hoisted him under his arms and carried him half resisting into one of the houses across the street from Chapman's. That is, into a house that is no longer there. Oh, fuck. Well, that's not good. Put our Admiral's hat back on. Serious. Doing well. That's nice. I'm glad things are well. Okay, let's find Hajit. The Thrall Street. We'll talk to Hajit first. Hajit likes to see me wearing his gift. Might take that as encouragement. I don't want to encourage him. Also, we're not here on official business, so I'll wear my lapel. That'll do. Harjeet is palpably not happy to see me. I got bad news, Harjeet. There's something I need to talk to you about. I tell Harjeet the story of what I saw when Lucien was drunk. Tell me everything. Was he angry? Hurt? Did he strike anyone? Did you hear who it was he wanted to warn? I explain everything that I can. Then he's beyond my help. Beyond reach. You remember things I've forgotten. The building might still be there, if approached rightly. Sometimes, one can find one's way around the fold. It's hard to find places I never saw in the first place. From a certain point of view, one of Lucien's personal effects. A thing that should not be here if he did not exist. A thing that might be edited out of the Neath in time. I think when I forget him, I will also vanish. Of course. I dread the thought of being swept away. Did you cease to exist? Die? Or only go back to the surface? There are stories in the newspaper. Apocryphal or not, I do not know. Of people who after a period in the Neath found themselves walking in some sunlit field above. Maybe I would be in the Punjab again, back among my own people. They say Dula Singh has gone back there. With London gone and the Queen fallen below, there was nothing to prevent him from returning to Lahore. Perhaps he's even now restoring our empire to its former state. So you want to go back? A few months ago, I wanted nothing more. But my love for Lucien was also so imperative. If the cost of my homecoming was to forget him, I am not sure I could have brought myself to do it. I'm glad you told me that. You're welcome. Can you show me someplace new, Harjeet? The Devil's Townhouse? I mean, we've gotta. Have you seen any devils? If by that you mean the people with yellow eyes. Yeah. They have taken over a townhouse that way. He points out a direction. You can see them coming and going sometimes. The occasional vicar standing outside to stare in. Harjeet shows me the way, as he did before. At certain points, It makes me look up at the stalactites above and fix their relationship in my mind. They sparkle with something other than stars. Don't treat the stars like constellations. They do not stand still. Arjeet takes a look at the devil's doorstep and raises his eyebrows. It's plain he has no taste for this company, so I say goodbye and go on alone. Their door knocker is made of brass, unreasonably worn brass, and it's shaped like the head of a goat. The attendant is human enough, but she refuses to answer any questions. I wait in a very old-fashioned wooden chair. I keep feeling that the armrests are nipping at my wrists. I am invited inside at last. Ah, what's this? I think you may have become lost, comrade. Angle to impress the lady with lies. Let's use our tailor background. Dreki! I go by Milton. I dislike forenames. You may address me as Virginia, or ma'am. Before all this, my family were tailors. And may I say, the decorations are enchanting. Never been able to get my crockery to whisper to me. They both fall extremely still. I'm not sure that they breathe. I'm here for the census. I don't have a badge with me, but I'm collecting census information for the Ministry of Accounting and Recounting. You may have mistaken your authority. The masters do not direct us. It won't take long. We're in the middle of a delicate matter. Come now, Virginia. Wouldn't you find it entertaining to learn what the masters are asking? I admit to significant curiosity. Just what does the ministry hope to learn about you and me that it does not already know? Then ask and be prompt, Dreki. And if this proves to be a waste of our time, Milton, you will owe me your good hunting horn. Alright, let's flirt with the devils. Let's make it worth their while. What sort of household do you keep, and does it need any additional members? I reside alone. You have servants. I do. Several. I'd assumed they would not be counted as persons. You must trust me on this sort of thing, Virginia. I've had more time to learn London's customs. And you frequently entertain overnight visitors. Never for very long. I have a maidservant, a housekeeper, and 3 drones. Footman. Yes, footman. You're an intriguing specimen. Do you have any lovers? Spouses? Friendly barmaids? Ah, an interesting question. Several persons have believed themselves to be romantically attached to me. Will that do? You're not engaged to any of them? Of course not. And not married, that I can safely rule out. Oh, a delicious snag found its way into our establishment. Ooh. Must have been a deviled egg. Definitely not married. There are census answers I could still get from Virginia. Virginia is a fine name, fashionable. One tries to accommodate the local culture. That is, one tries until it becomes too much a bother. Our friend implies that the name does not distinguish you from the common or garden variety, Virginia. It might benefit from a poetic epithet. Amber-eyed Virginia, for instance. London poets have a taste for that kind of thing. Brass shard, Virginia. You must ensure that it scans. Do not write that down. Virginia of the Cloven Hearth? Definitely not. Pity. I didn't allow Milton to distract me from my remaining questions. Milton definitely seems like a fucking scamp, because he's constantly like shifting around and you know, talking a little side diversions. Let's use the exact wording of the original census question. Are you enamorificated or impassionated? I have no romantic involvement that you need to report to your employers. Silence falls. What's the purpose of this building? What sort of business is typically done here? Diplomacy. Commerce. Contracts are written and signed. Gathering of information. Oh, an academic business. You mean this case is an academic establishment? Are you engaged in research? No, I wouldn't exactly say that. My colleague is known to engage in experiments. I am keen to hear about your business all the same. Invent a fabulous tale of my reliability in all matters. Nice rolls on your hoard. Thank you. I figured, you know, I needed something to be in line with the setting, so I found this nice rose. I tried to find like a mask, but none of them that I found real quick were working very well. Before February, I had the honor to wait upon members of the royal family. Oh? I've seen very odd things and kept my own counsel about them all. I do collect souls, but not, let us say, in bulk. There are wholesale dealers, souls by the gross, etc. I'm more of a specialist merchant. For my taste, the literary soul is especially intriguing. You are more easily intrigued than I am. Look around without commentating. The bottles on the far wall glow as though there's a gas lamp behind them. Just a glance leaves me dizzy. I look forward to your next visit, comrade. I can just manage another errand before supper.